So this is our last meditation of 2020, and I don't know who else I can speak for, but I'm leaving a different person than I was when I entered 2020. And this can be in a beautiful way, as I'm sure some of us have experienced with this time to dive into what's important for us, but also in ways that are probably still quite painful. So for today's meditation, we're going to journey through this idea, this concept in yoga that we call a Sankalpa, or our resolve. And I'll go more into this in the meditation. So if you want to find a comfortable seat by propping up your sit bones, feel free to have your camera on or off, whichever is more comfortable. And remember, we want to have the knees supported so the knee joint isn't hanging out in space. And to allow the pelvic bowl to tilt forward slightly so you can allow the spine to be tall and free with a slight tuck of the chin to keep an elongated cervical spine or neck. And if you're ready, you can close down the eyes. And if you're not quite ready, if you've been out and about all day or had a busy morning and closing the eyes doesn't feel quite right, you can just pick a point off the tip of the nose or pick a spot to gaze at, something that's unmoving in the room around you. And we'll just take a moment to check in with our posture, allowing ourselves to be alert yet relaxed. Allowing the shoulders to drip down the back. Jaw is relaxed. Eyebrows are relaxed. Lips are closed, perhaps teeth slightly apart. And just notice where your hands are resting. Perhaps they fall into the knees. Perhaps they're in the lap. And throughout the meditation today, I will be chiming the tingshas. They sound just like this. They are a meditation instrument from Tibet. And you can think of this sound as a bell of mindfulness. In such a busy time in the holidays, we can find that our mind likes to be anywhere but meditation. So when you hear the bell, just let it gently call you back.
Is that Anna?
That's
I
Anna.
didn't know her hair was that long.
And to allow a soft smile to come to the face. And then we'll just do a very simple breathing technique. So we'll inhale for the count of 4, and then exhale for the count of 5. And what this does with an extended exhale, it allows us to come into the parasympathetic nervous response. This allows us to calm the body through calming of the nervous system. So we'll take a big inhale to exhale through the nose. Inhale through the nose, fill up, inhale. And then exhale, sigh it out. Exhale all the air from the lungs. We'll take one more just like that. Inhale through the nose, fill up, inhale. And then exhale, sigh it all out, letting the eyes close if you haven't already. Coming into this state of safety, of peace, of stillness. This time we'll inhale through the nose on a count of 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold for a slight pause at the top. And then exhale for a count of 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold at the bottom just for a moment, and then we'll inhale once again for a count of 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold at the top, and then exhale for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Holding at the bottom, and then inhaling for 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold at the top and exhale for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Continuing this breathing practice for a few rounds on your own, inhaling for any count that feels comfortable. If you'd like to extend the inhale to 5 or 6, and extend the exhale to a moment or two longer than that. So if you'd like to inhale for 5 and exhale for 6, just allowing the exhales to be longer and softer than the inhales. Allow the sound of your breath to absorb you. Just like last week with the Anapanasati, allow the movement of the body with your breath absorb you. And keep going with the breath, and we'll bring our mind slowly to this year. The isolation, the trauma, the tragedy. It all serves to shape who we are. But it also can leave our inner world chaotic and our energy fragmented. So as you extend the exhales, call your energy back. Bring it into your space. Many of us, depending on our situation, have been feeling intense feelings of separateness. As you continue to focus your mind on the breath, I ask you now, what exit wounds are you leaving 2020 with? And take a moment of silence to be with this question. It might be fear, health concerns, grief, financial wounds, anxiety. And I invite you not to go into a story about any of these things, but to just see what arises. What are your exit wounds from 2020? Just like a bubble that surfaces at the top of a body of water. Just notice and settle back in. We've seen so many hearts harden to what truly matters, but not yours. You're full and ready to grow into what the times require, to what you require to find peace and serenity again. Allow the sound of the tingsha to focus the mind once again. Now I'd like to introduce a Sanskrit word, Sankalpa. Feel the sounds of this vibrational language, this vibrational word, Sankalpa. We have San, which means connected to our highest truth. And then we have Kalpa, a vow or a rule that we follow above all other rules. And in its most simple translation, we can understand Sankalpa as resolve. Throughout this meditation, as we discover this notion in a meditative state, we can begin to understand why we would contemplate Sankalpa or resolve at this time. It's not a resolution, but it begins from a radical promise that you already are and already have everything you need to fulfill your life's dharma or your life's purpose, your life's mission. It is the true internal realization of this dharma or of this purpose that gives us this sense of freedom that we seek. They say that when the soul descends into a body, it has a reason for doing so. This is the dharma, the mission of our spirit. We can ask ourselves questions like, why am I here? And what is my purpose? Sun, connection with our highest truth, and kalpa, a vow or rule we fall above all other rules. And we know that we have everything that we already need inside of us to realize this. All that must be done is to focus the mind and connect to our innermost felt desires of the heart. It is a commitment we make to support our highest truth. It honors the deeper meaning of our life. What is the deeper meaning of your life? Our Sankalpa speaks to the larger arc of our life. It becomes a statement, an internal statement that we may call upon to remind us of our true nature, to guide our choices and to guide our thoughts. And we know that it's our Sankalpa, our resolve, because it arrives with everything already needed to fully realize it. And if the mind wanders, gently call it back. Around this time of year, we might have made New Year's resolutions. And we might notice that they often begin with the statement, I will. For this reason or that, we summon and call upon our willpower to bring bad habits to an end, or bad behaviors to an end in the new year. We pledge to change what it is that we do, and sometimes even change who it is that we are. We set goals, and we allow our minds to fantasize how happy we'll be when we achieve them. And this idea of Sankalpa and yogic philosophy teaches us that there's so much difference between I will and thy will. And why do they almost always fail? Perhaps because they're born of the assumption that who we are already is not good enough. They begin from the assumption that happiness depends on something else. But happiness is right here. In meditation, we find that the chief architect of life is the mind. We might find that to create the life that we want to live, we just draw the mind again and again and again to our deepest intentions, our dharma, our purpose. And the qualities of connectedness that live within us all. We don't have to ask where we'll find the will to do these things because the energy and will is simply already there. All we have to do is look. This becomes a heartfelt desire, a statement of who we already are. Perhaps I am peace. Perhaps I am healed. Perhaps I am already whole. And we find that these statements do not come from the intellectual mind, but from deep within us, directly out of the great mystery of who we really are. And from this statement of who we really are, perhaps a specific intention or goal is born out of it. Knowing that when we discover this, not everything happens all at once. And in many cases, nothing happens at that moment at all from the outside. But when we tune into the subtle, we might feel a big sigh of relief from the inside. I invite you now to set this specific intention, to find this inner statement, our Sankalpa, our resolve to live in truth from this moment on. Allow the earth to support you from the ground beneath your feet, and the universe to hold you as you look inside and find your Sankalpa, find your resolve, knowing that if nothing comes up, it will. Trust that it will in the right time. You have everything you need to realize this, to move through sensations of fear, of doubt, of isolation, to remember what really matters, what's really important. I ask you now, what parts of you are you ready to leave in 2020? And what parts of you will you bring forward? Your Sankalpa, your resolve. And finally, what parts of you have you unveiled about yourself in 2020? What have you unveiled that you hadn't seen before? And now releasing these questions, allowing yourself to once again become absorbed by the breath. You might find that the mind like to take you into different stories, perhaps different situations that my words triggered. And just remember, there is no there. There is only vivid reality of this surprising moment, now and now and now. And I invite you to reside in this secret place inside, just for a breath. Forget what you want, forget what you know. And perhaps a joy arises in the heart at this sudden freedom, this flash of true freedom. And to cherish these times of absorption, no matter how small. Perhaps you can feel your body as the instrument breath is playing. Enter here into the space and dwell. And slowly begin to bring your awareness back to the breath as we prepare to come out of meditation. Allow yourself to feel where your hands are resting on your body. Perhaps where your clothes are touching your skin. And before opening the eyes, noticing if there is a taste in your mouth, a smell in the room. Noticing whether you feel hot or cold. And then when you're ready, you can slowly begin to open the eyes and take a few rolls of the neck. Perhaps a few big, deep inhales and exhales as you prepare to close out your practice. And I thank you so much for coming to meditation. And I hope that this helps provide some clarity or guidance moving forward from this year. And I'll be typing in the chat after the questions that I asked during the meditation if you feel called to journal on them at all.